told you that every single painting that I've ever made wasn't actually from my imagination? That I don't just sit down and think, what should I paint today? I sit down because something is happening inside me that I have absolutely no other way to get out. Today, I'm telling you why, and I never said any of this out loud before.
Hey y'all, it's Ashley again. Welcome back to Abstract with Ashley, where I make art without rules and feelings without apologies. So, today is different. So, today I'm not going to be teaching you a technique or anything like that, a series, episode, or nothing of that nature. I just need to be raw, honest, and open with you guys and just paint because this is kind of like the whole point, actually. So I actually have 3 things that are very close to my heart, very personal, and how they're actually all connected to each other. Not only that, but like to every single brushstroke that I've ever made. And with that being said, let's start from the very beginning, shall we? So the first thing, and honestly, this one took the longest for me to find a name for it. So I have something that is called synesthesia-adjacent. And hold up, before you start clicking away thinking this is going to be a sciencey video, it's not, just bear with me, okay? I looked up like synesthesia adjacent and art like on YouTube, and I could not find anything on it. I could find things just on synesthesia by itself, but I could not find anything on the synesthesia adjacent. Like I felt like at that time like I was like the only one experiencing this. So I thought, hey, let me make a video on this that way, because there might be other people that are like me and are trying to find someone or something that they can relate to. Here is what it actually feels like for me. Colors have feelings, sounds have textures, and emotions have temperatures. When something is sad, it's not just sad. It has a very specific type of like gray and blue, but like with some weight to it. When I'm like overwhelmed, it goes sharp and red. And like when I'm in a really like deep creative flow, it feels like deep purple with like some gold like edge to it. And trust me, I know how this sounds. I do. But here's the thing, whenever I pick up a palette knife, I'm not just choosing like colors, I'm like reporting them. It's basically like my nervous system is literally translating those into, you know, acrylic painting. That's why like I chose abstract art, specifically abstract expressionism art, because to me, it felt like it made the most sense to me. Like it was the most honest option for me.
Every time I mix a color, I'm actually asking myself, does this feel right? Not look right, feel right. There's a difference, and once you start making that distinction, you can't go back.
So the second thing, I have high functioning autism. It's true, I do. And if you know anything about autism in general, you may think like the high functioning part is like a very loaded term, right? Because it sounds like, oh, you're mostly fine, you know, you're okay, you know? And yeah, I am okay, you know, I navigate the world fine just like everybody else. But here's the thing, like for me, there are certain times where certain situations could be very, very stressful and very overwhelming. Like, for example, social situations, sensory stuff, like certain sounds, certain lighting, you know, just like certain textures that can just be like, blah, you know, so it can very become overwhelming and create this sort of short circuit of like chaos. You know, for me, the world is loud in ways that aren't always visible, if that makes any sense. I don't know if that makes any sense. I'm just rambling at this point, but this is just like what I am like genuinely feeling. And you know what the wild thing is? It wasn't just until recently that I really started to understand like how the synesthesia piece and the autism piece are like deeply connected to each other. The way like my brain like process the sensory input, the way that everything gets assigned to like a feeling or like a color, a weight, whatever the case may be, it's not separate from being like autistic. Like that's part of it. Like for me, I don't experience the full-on synesthesia part of it. I only experience like some of it. I'm more fluid when it comes to that sort of thing. Like for example, whenever I hear a song, I see certain colors and I see like I can feel the movement with it. And like whatever feeling I'm like, for example, if I'm feeling happy and I listen to a song that makes me feel happy and I see certain like brush strokes or colors, then that's when it kind of like integrates together. And then I feel like that's why I create certain pieces the way I do. So I don't experience the full on effect of it, but I just only experience partial of it.
Are no wrong colors in abstract art. There's no such thing as that's not what it's supposed to look like. It's just, it is what it is. And for the brain that spends a lot of time trying to figure out the rules, that kind of freedom, it's everything.
And you know, for a very long time, I've always experienced life in a different way because I've always felt like I was different. I felt like I was being too much, or I felt like I was, overwhelmed with certain things, or I felt like I was being dramatic and I was doing things too much, So I've always known it was different. I always knew growing up, but I didn't know what it was. I didn't know what it was called. And I felt like nobody truly understood me. Like, even though I couldn't get the words out that I need to, like in here, like I felt it, but I just couldn't get the words out. Like, my words were like garbage, like, bleh. And art was the first thing that told me, no, you know what? You are enough. You're not too much. You're just the right amount that, we need. And I feel so safe with art. I feel like it's my home, it's my paradise, it's my safe haven. And I feel like art is the one thing that truly understands me. And I want everybody to have that safe space for them. I truly do, because if anybody, or excuse me, if everybody can have that safe space, then I feel like people were more likely to be able to express themselves the way they are. So, and lastly, the third thing, I have MS, relapsing, remitting multiple sclerosis, which means that some days I'm fine, other days my body just does not want to cooperate with me. Fatigue is not just like regular tired. It, for me personally, it feels like an elephant is literally sitting on you and you just cannot get up. Like, it doesn't matter what you try to do, like you just cannot move. Um, Luckily, I don't experience that all the time. I only experience like my MS symptoms like when I'm really sick. So because my immune system is compromised as it is, when I get sick, my immune system is severely compromised. So then that's when all my symptoms start to trigger and I have my relapse. And that's when I experience it the most. But, I would say 95% of the time, I'm fine. I have my treatment. I take good care of myself. So luckily, I don't experience those really big, severe symptoms a whole lot. So grateful for that. But yeah, the relapsing part, I feel like for me, is the hardest part to explain to people, because not everybody is going through the same thing as I am. Because when you have MS, it's different from everybody else. Like, you're on your own unique snowflake, for example. So trying to explain to someone who does not have MS what I'm going through, it's very frustrating, because they'll say, oh, I know how you feel, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no, you don't. No, you don't know how I feel. So don't say that you do when you don't, Like, I understand they're trying to be supportive, but at the same time, because from the outside, I can look completely justified, but on the inside, I'm like completely flat and I'm weak. And I try to put on like a happy face. I try to fight, but there's just days where I can't do it. And like, to be honest, there's no perfect way to like predict what's gonna happen today. So I just take it day by day. And like, the main reason why I wanted to tell you guys all of this is because I feel like, whoever's watching this may be going through something, like whether it be a diagnosis, going through chronic pain, or having a body just not wanting to cooperate with them, or wherever the case may be, or feel like they have to keep that separate from like the things that they love to do.
And on the hard days, I don't try to paint pretty. I just paint honestly. Whatever's happening in my body, the fatigue, the ache, the fog, it goes into the canvas, and somehow that makes it lighter.
The synesthesia-adjacent brain that experiences some things and like color or sound, the autistic nervous system experiencing certain things more intensely than others, or a body with MS that can break down at any given moment. That's a lot of input. That's a lot of noise for one person to handle and deal with. And like, for years, I didn't have a language for it. Like, I could explain to people, like, I could not explain to people, like, why I felt so overwhelmed when nothing bad was happening. And I couldn't explain to people, like, why I need to do, like, certain things, like, actually do it, like, not just, like, as a hobby, but, like, more like a survival strategy. Abstract expressionism art is the one thing that has truly understood me, like, fully. Not people, because people are constantly trying to understand words, and I don't have words sometimes. So instead, like, my thoughts and my feelings, they live through color and texture. And the feeling of, like, the palette knife being dragged through the wet acrylic paint, and something inside me that just says, yes, that's it, that's the one. Every painting that I make, it's me trying to say something that I can't say in other ways. What I'm trying to say is that if you have a diagnosis, not, or if your brain functions normally or not, or whatever the case, maybe if you ever feel like you're being too loud or too much or too bold, you're not. You're not too much, I promise. You just need the right language. And maybe yours is paint, maybe it's music, maybe it's something that you have not discovered about yourself yet. And trust me, your time will come. I promise you that. I personally feel like everybody has a gift. They do. Everybody has a gift. And that's up for you to decide what your gift is. And my gift, it just has to be art.
Painting is what today feels like. Synesthesia, autism, MS, art, all of it at once. Make it what you will. That's kind of the whole point.
If this video resonated with you at all, even just a little bit, drop a comment down below and tell me what does one untranslatable feeling look like to you. I genuinely want to know, because we're all in this together. The Abstractly family is waiting for you. And as always, my Abstractlings, be bold, be abstract, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, y'all.